Hi everyone. Today is 10th of February. Uh, I think this is very good week. I'm sure everybody would be cheering and enjoying the market move. So as usual, we'll start with BTC open at 6 hour time frame. And first, quick recap on what it was doing earlier and then the current phase. And of course, we'll go higher time frame and see how it looks like on different time frames. Now, excuse me. So this was break above R4 and then consolidation. There was one attempt, got support and sideway movement for a couple of days and a nice breakout. So there were few attempts at a low time frame, as you could see. 44K was interim resistance. So when it dropped, 44K becomes interim resistance. Uh, I would say minor resistance, but very important one. And then this particular candle, as you see, was the breakout. And then back-to-back green candles all the way to R5. So we can say this whole entire move is from one level to another. This is this is technical move. Nobody will deny this one. Like bouncing from this one, if you look at support, and then support, break attempt, again retest, breakout, again retracement, and then support, consolidation, breakout, and touching the next resistance, prior resistance, which is so amazing. So when you see this one, you say, oh, this is perfect. Like, and and that also from technical point of view, you gain more confidence in terms of um, getting clues from this one and ideas. And also as a subject, as I always say, technical analysis, you will have more faith. It's not about faith on me or my company. It's about the faith and technical analysis. Of course, everybody supports and trust, but the point is, it is because the technical analysis that works. That's why I'm just interpreting. Okay, so basically, what next? So this is a range, as you can see. This R5 this is lower R5. You can say this is upper. So this is the range. So it has to break above. Let's look at 1 day now. So on 6 hour, we could analyze the inner structure, breakout, consolidation, retest, and all those things. 1 day you would see the same thing, but with with a wider pattern where you'd see the initial consolidation phase and a breakout and then total reset. And this is because of a couple of reasons. DXY was pumping and Bitcoin was being sold. I mean, that grayscale sell off. So a lot of pressure, I believe. But this particular correction was not very deep, though it broke this low. But this was not the ultimate one. The actually this one was more important one. Not the ultimate, but very important one. And that was not broken. Many people thought that this candle is going to collapse Bitcoin. And what we used to say is, yeah, it's below warning level. It was important because everybody knows when you have these lows and so many, then this becomes the support. And most of the stops would be in this region. Most of the stops to protect themselves because this was huge consolidation. It could have gone down very deep, but and sometimes longs get liquidated and slippage and all those market orders when you are stopped out push the price down. That kind of behavior we could see near the major support level. and there is no easy answer. Sometimes it goes little lower, and then but the thing is, you have to see how bad, how it is progressing once the support is broken. Good traders do not get panic. First of all, they see how it is behaving. Sometimes it can be just spike like this, not necessarily it goes down. Let's just like a spike and then goes up. In this case, it didn't go, it didn't recover from here, but it came down. But once it comes down, one would say, okay, my daily candle is below the support, let's say, but then let me see how the next week, next day comes. And that's how and then when you see a green candle, then you would realize that it's not that it wants to go down deep. And then of course this is not no confirmation, but when you see 3 days of consolidation and with a bounce, you get some idea that it doesn't want to crash at this moment. Maybe it could another leg down, but at least you cannot assume that. And then this becomes your support. And especially when you have this support, this becomes your reference point. And then when you see this one, this is like early confirmation, we can say, because this is no ordinary candle. This is no ordinary candle. This basically reset of this candle. So this is like confirmation, and especially when this is not tiny candle, this is a huge candle. And I'm sure the volume would have gone up as well. We can quickly check. Not much though on this exchange, but yeah, more or less the same. A little actually lower than this, but from height point of view, it was pretty good. Usually, if the volume is good, even better than it is like more solid confirmation. Like, but nevertheless, this was a good move. So that's my point that education point of view, the supports sometimes are broken, like this kind of spikes, and the sometimes clear breakdown. However, you have to see how far it goes. One day of breakdown may not conclude anything um in a even medium range or whatever. Long run, this is not nothing, because one day is not going to decide anything on weekly trend, for example. Then the weekly time frame is required, not the daily. One day is short term. I don't want to get into long term, short term, medium term, because it's a very subjective. Usually I call short one day as short term. Anything below one day is intraday. Weekly in crypto I consider long term, and anything between like 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, whatever is medium term. That's my own definition, because uh, beyond weekly we cannot go monthly, because cycles are more or less defined as weekly, and monthly is too late. If you track on monthly, in my experience, then you get to know very late. That's why monthly is not suitable for crypto. Monthly is suitable for stocks. They move slowly, the cycles are big, I mean long. So monthly is more long term in stocks. Weekly is medium term, and again one day is short term there. So that's very different. Sometime long term could be quarterly in stocks. So monthly to quarterly. So monthly to weekly could be medium. So it depends. But usually sometimes quarterly gives you the longer term trend. So in stocks it's different. Yeah. But in crypto we cannot go even monthly. Forget about quarterly. You will get just few sticks, few candles, because most of coins do not have enough history for that to analyze at three months quarterly level. Right. So what time frame we track is very important. That's my point. And supports are not guarantees. Okay. Supports are level where someone would watch. Simply, it simply means somewhere it's more like potential defensive line. But defensive line doesn't mean protection, guaranteed protection. So, and it is not like solid wall. It is more like a thread where someone can pull or push the thread, and then that level. That's why we call ranges sometime or zone, support zone, because it's more like a thread rather than line. But here in the two of when we draw, we sometimes draw like ranges, like resistant ranges. So this is more like penetration and a push, and then it's like it goes in or above in this case. So in this one, um, it's like a flexible line, and then there is a range. So usually like this range, but sometimes the range could be wider and look for the lower one and so on. So supports are key levels where we monitor where congestion happen. I think that's the easy way to understand. Resistance and support is where congestion is expected, and congestion or consolidation, when it happens, when because the buyers and sellers are trying to take their side, and then basically market is not able to decide which direction it should. So when it happens for longer time, it ends up with consolidation. So that phase or that level or range becomes support if it is going down, and then if it is going up, then that we call resistance. So this is very essential to understand. So we measure and come up with this zone or level and expect price to react like this. Is no accident. This is technical, and that's what it is. Anyway, so that's just a recap of some of the educational points on how the TA works and how supports are interpreted. Because some people might think that resistance are target. Resistance are not target. There's no target. Uh, I mean, it's a totally wrong term. You might have expectation that it will hit. So maybe it's a personal target, but the market doesn't have a target. Market doesn't decide that, hey, I want to achieve this, because market is not a is not an entity, or collect. It's a collective entity, but not how to say, they're not aiming for something. Buyers and seller do not know each other. Each and every one would do their own part, and the net result is the price. That's how it is. So price is not a target. Price is not trying for any target. So that's why this is totally wrong terminology, but it's more like person's own expectation that it is moving up. What is the target? So I would say it might be your target. The market doesn't have target. It doesn't work like that. Market would move and you expect some reaction or resistance. The resistance is weak. It'll just touch and react a little and then continue on the upside. If the resistance is strong, then it'll push back harder, and sometimes it the resistance could become the point of reversal where the cycles end. So these are the three stages. Same thing for support. So quick recap on, because it's very important that how we utilize this data, and uh, we don't have misconcept on how technical analysis work. So if our expectations are realistic, then it helps. Okay, so one day looks lovely. I mean, this retracement was expected because it has to break above, and if it spends weekend, it is possible. Because it has done its job on Friday, today is Saturday, so it is possible that it may consolidate here and then tries to break out when the weekend, I mean, new week starts. That could be the possibility. In the worst case, this could be double top. Right now, I don't see that scenario, to be honest. But the so right now, last time I mentioned that we always talk about bearish scenario, but we basically because from education point of view, we need to know what are the possibilities, and but we have to add probability and think from my point of view, of course, and then that's what I tell. So if I want to say what bearish pattern it might ends up with is could be like something where it slowly goes down like this from here and then break down. Uh, and this is more like this. This is more like retracement from the last all-time high. So let me clarify. I'm not saying it's going down. Okay, just to clarify. This is so you see this is a double top. So in this case, this was the top, came down, retested this low, consolidated, went up, and then slightly higher, but as now explained, so it's not exact number. Consider this as a thread, not as a wall. So it tries to break, fail, tried to break, fail, and then retraced, and then ended up with a deeper correction, right? Now, we had similar situation here. This is also double top and it retested, but here it ended up with double bottom and went up. So this was very scary scenario. This was so there are like this instance was a potential point of failure. This instance, not this one. This drop was not the potential risk. This it because it went up. It always attempts, but this was really a tricky one. This is a potential failure. This was really a risky one. Like this was not risky, but when it's, and even this was not risky, but when it touched this one, this was really on edge. Similarly, this was not risky, even not this one, though it was disappointing, but this one was definitely risky one. And then recovery, as you could see, this was amazing recovery. This was also amazing recovery. Now, when it came down, again, this was not a big thing. There was some more room in terms of trend. That was not a concern at all. Now, this was the top, which is very important. With this range is very important, technically speaking, very important. Um, from a weekly point of view, we're looking at daily, but it doesn't matter. Weekly point of view, this is extremely important resistance. So bearish scenario point of view, this could be another top where it broke down and it could go all the way up, not necessarily up to 44K. It could go all the way up. As I explained, three scenarios, right? On a weekly scale, all-time high, and then this one, and now this one. This is a very similar one, where the recovery is almost there. And it could go a little higher also. And it could go a little higher, like all-time high. I already shown, so I don't need to go back actually. So it went up a little higher, and but then it failed. So similarly, it could go higher and then fail. I'm not saying it's going to fail, remember? So again, otherwise mind tries to read between the line. This is not what I'm saying. We'll come to know when it because if it so how would we know then? Essentially, my warning level becomes the 44K now. See, this is how we do. My warning level goes up. So if basically If it comes down and breaks below 44K, that would trigger one. What is my risk level now? I will not change it. I will not change it because this low has to be broken to trigger risk. So I would not change, but my warning level goes up. Let me move this. So that much change I would do. If you want to little bit more defensive, then this can be the warning level, which I would prefer at this moment. Actually speaking with 4100. Then we'll see. This makes more sense because this was a really congestion area. So we have raised, but not all very close. But yeah, breaking below 44K is not a good sign in that case. But the thing is, sometimes the pattern could be very crazy, and then it could be like this. You won't believe. Then a breaks about something like this, right? That's why I want at a lower. Maybe I should keep it at 4, 400. So, but yeah, this is so 44 becomes the early warning in a way, right? And this 41,400 becomes very important. And this must not be broken. Now, importance of this is more significant than before because it already survived. So if this fails, then it's not at all a good sign. Then it becomes real risk. So I always talk about risk, as you have noticed, but not that I'm being pessimistic or thinking about downside first, because I always believe that one must know uh, the potential downside scenario and important levels. So it's like if health, if there is no fever or no illness, that means we are healthy. The definition is very simple. Then you can measure how much strength you have. It's a different thing. How much stamina you have. Can you run 1 mile or 10 mile? It's different thing. But even if you can run 1 mile, or even if you cannot run 1 mile or walk just 1 mile, you are still healthy. So you can measure health in different terms, but you're healthy. There is no need to go further down, right? Unless you're an athlete or something. So, so basic definition is if you are not sick, if you are suffering from illness, you are healthy. So that's why if there is no risk, that means it's good. And if it is good, then we could measure how strong it is and all. That's another level. But most essential is when the health would go down or deteriorate. And that's what we talk about. So like our own health, right? If there is cough, cold, something, we can say, oh, it's not a big thing, it's just short-term thing. You know that. So if we have fever, we still don't rush to the hospital. We say, okay, you know what? It is something I have to pay attention. And then, so basically, we assess our health risk in a gradual manner. We don't try to, we don't rush to emergency for fever. We measure, we not just measure, but we measure every day and see, is it rising? Is it one off? Is it for 2 days? Okay, then I think there's something serious. So we basically escalate thing, and we know what to do. We start with home remedy. If that is not controllable, then we go to physician. If basically if that is also not controllable, then the emergency is the next level and so on, right? And the last one is ICU on ventilator, whatever. So last support is like trend support is like ventilator. If you take off, if that, then it's the direct threat to the life. Like that, if that last support is broken, then potentially it's a reversal. Very similar to health, and this is how I see. And technical analysis is health analysis. If I have liberty and authority, I would not call technical analysis because there is nothing technical about it. To me, this is health analysis. So I would rename the whole entire terminology. And I would not call it technical level. I would say health levels. So in my definition, this is more like health check. Always I believe in that. And I have explained how we do for our own health, and exactly same we do when it comes to price action. So there's nothing technical. What is technical? I mean, there's nothing technical here, to be honest. Literal meaning is totally incorrect. But anyway, that's my take on the terminology. So yeah, unless it breaks below 44K, in short, there's no need. There's no need to think about crash, because even if it comes down, there is a scenario. And of course, the best scenario is this, right? Happy scenario is this. A very little consolidation and break up. It's going to retest this one. So this is a checkpoint, another checkpoint. It could come down like this. Something like that. So this is nothing but repeat, and then join this one, and then so let me draw one more arrow, and then this one is done. So basically, it retraces, comes down, goes up. It goes up, goes down, goes up, and if it goes up, maybe little time it spends, and then goes up. There are three scenarios. So the probability of this to happen is lowest. Probability of this to happen is lowest. Why? Because it will be determined only if it breaks this point. So this is the lowest probability. So we're not even talking. If it goes up and starts going down, what is the condition? Condition is this. If it breaks below, let's say this level, then we can say it may continue on this path. Maybe I should have a different color. And then so this is possible. So in that case, what might happen? It could come down all the way here and then goes up. You see, this is still the same scenario. So this is a potential branch out from here. So this is very easy to understand now. So this is not the probable scenario. This is highly probable scenario. And then after this one, this could happen. And then this is a potential scenario. We cannot talk about this now unless we come back to this level. Clear? And then breaks down. If it breaks down, we can say this is a potential scenario. So this is likely to be the scenario where it goes, consolidates, next week goes up, comes down, may not be all the way down, maybe in this range, and then goes up, right? So basically this could be somewhere from middle, from here, somewhere from middle, this green. And but it could touch this one and then goes up. So it doesn't matter. It's more or less the same thing. So basically this is a range, whether it goes up from here or from here is one and the same thing. So this ultimately both are the same scenario. Only difference is that the level of retracement could be different up to this one or all the way this one. And of course, if this is broken down and goes deeper, then this is not a breakout, then because then it will look for lower and then potential recovery like this. And of course, if this is also broken, then we talk about risk, potential risk. So all this thing could happen right? And we give probability based on where it stands. So if I have to choose path, how I'm choosing the path where it basically consolidates like this, goes up, and then comes down somewhere in this range, and then goes up, either this one or this one. It depends on the strength of the momentum. So technical analysis cannot predict the momentum, remember. Okay, so if it is breaking out, you cannot figure out the momentum. You have to observe it real time and see the momentum is good. But you cannot say that it will have straight up like 10%, 15% breakout. Nobody can talk, nobody can tell this. Nobody. It is not possible. So that's how, but we talk about this. So I think, I hope I made myself clear in terms of what scenario I'm looking for, probable scenario. And at the same time, I covered alternative scenarios with a low probability, but education point of view, understanding point of view, it is always good to know, right? So, because we are not someone as a group, right, who just think about one way. Okay, we always think about what all things could happen and then decide what is probable, because that's more rational thinking, in my opinion, more pragmatic view and more realistic view rather than biased towards one direction and just stick to it. It's very difficult to change your mind once you are extremely bullish without thinking about alternative scenario and think this is going for 100K all-time high and so on, you know. But when you have this kind of mindset where you have two, three scenarios on the table with conditions, and uh, we are not even talking about this one example, only when this is, so this is condition. So then it is more like a flow chart. It's more like a flow chart where there is a condition box, and then based on yes or no, it branches out and then takes the path. In flowchart, you must have drawn flowcharts, I'm sure. And the flowchart is not just one flow. Flowchart would have multiple flows. And what path it will take depends on that diamond box. Remember? Yes, no. And it is like this. So different levels is where I always talk about decision point. I talk about decision point as a support and resistance because that's how it is. It's like a flow chart. So in a flow chart, the diamond box is a decision point, and based on yes, no, it decides what path is the next one. Similarly, your support and resistance are checked diamond boxes where it decides what path it will take. Very simple to understand. I'm trying to make it this simple, more rational, more logical, basically. Right. So after knowing this, at least Bitcoin is clear. I'm sure there is no ambiguity in terms of what it's trying to do. So we are always grounded, you know, we are always grounded. We don't, I mean, our desire is one thing, but we are always grounded. There is nothing, no harm in dreaming. There's no harm in having desire, but living in dream is bad thing. So this is what I always call, having dream is good, but living in dream is bad. As simple, because living in dream is like not living in reality, and often you miss the present, and the present is the driver. So I strong believer that we should have dream, but we should not be in dream. Okay, so this has happened, right? So this was dotted line, potential path, and there was no downside move I mentioned. So because that it's confidence. So this has happened, we can make it solid. Now what next? Of course, the logical move, which we covered, so I don't want to. So maybe this, so we can make this dotted line, right? So this is a potential path as and heading for the next one. Very simple. Very simple. So on a weekly point of view, unless this layer or zone is broken, there's nothing to worry. From a trend level point of view, weekly trend level point of view, um, this orange line zone is extremely important, 31K. So this is far from 31K. But yeah, in the worst case scenario, this can be an attempt. It could go down all the way down, 33K. The market can surprise people, and I have often seen that market moves against the common consensus. The consensus from the people or the crowd is always have lag. They are always behind. When there is bottom, they're thinking about crash. When there is top, they think about new all-time high and so on. When it is here, so it doesn't mean that when the crowd is looking for breakout, that means the worst thing is going to happen. But this is a general rule, general observation. It's not like a rule. So another clarification, otherwise you might think that right now everybody's bullish. That means it's going to go down. No, I mean, we have a condition. The condition we must meet. But this is my observation that they are crowd realize the change late. But don't, if you're extremely analytical, you might think that right now it is likely to go down because the crowd is bullish. That's not what I mean. We have this condition, so that technically that matters, but they are not right about the bottom and top. That's what I mean. Or they are late. That's, I think, right way to put, instead of saying right and wrong. They are late. Anyway, so that's my observation. In the worst case scenario, it could test 32K range, 31, but so we have to accept that if that happens. But that's, even if that happens, it's not going to be a big deal. So it could come down all the way and then goes up. Still, that won't hurt, but that will put, I mean, that will devastate all coins if that happens. And also waste of time. Like this was waste of time. I explained this could have continued, it could have broken above from here. Because of this move and consolidation, we got delay of 3 months. So this has happened, but this could have happened here. So we got this 1 quarter of delay. So if this thing could happen, go down, then we end up with a delay of 5-6 months, basically, at least looking at the shape. So that's what something, and the market is always surprising. You never know what might happen. Right? Okay, so let's look at some reference data. Dollar index quickly. So the dollar index path is clear that, so it looks like it is, so as part of this green path. So I had to tune a little bit, as I mentioned earlier. So this is likely to be the path. If it goes up, oh boy, if then it will be devastating, because then it's too much. This leg, if we get this leg, then we get 1 month of boost. And then this becomes a decision point, in my opinion. This level. So this month looks very good from crypto point of view. And DXY is likely to go down, create this leg down. But if it retest, because it is unlikely to go up, but I cannot say for sure. If it goes up, then that's a really bad sign for crypto, really bad sign. But what likely to happen based on my analysis, it could create a leg down and then decide. So if it decides to go down like this, then we have longer term advantage on a crypto side, longer term. That means we are talking about failure of this consolidation. Remember, this is consolidation, which is very, very tricky. This is more like, I'll show you how it is. This is very tricky. It is two stage. Basically, it expanded, and then you may draw like this, a retest. So first, the pattern like expanded and then retested. There is no regular shape like channel or triangle. It's not like that. Very tricky one. Very tricky one. But we know what it's doing. Right now, you know. Now everybody knows on this platform. So this is very important. So next week or this month is very important. If it starts going down like this, that's what we want, right? And then as in when it comes down to this level, then we want to see if this is broken. If this is broken, then that's a point of celebration in my point of view. Right now, I should draw like this. So if this could come down all the way here, then that's good thing. And then it could again retry and then break down. So this is likely to be, if I'm just fast forwarding basically scenarios. So come down, maybe a little bounce, yeah, and then and a breakdown. And so maybe I'll show you like this, and then again recovery attempt, oops, and then new low. So this is the point of celebration, in my opinion. This one. So this one is the first good news. Oh, I would say retracement from here is the first good news, right? And not having this one, but having this one is second good news. And third and final good news is when it tries to go up and then breaks below this, not just break below this, but breaks below this, right? Then third and final celebration. Then we can say it is really, so we get a lot of time in that case. As you could see, that will be June. Now, another pattern which you might think this guy is crazy, but it is not like that. This is another scenario where this might just expand and this becomes a point of decision. So we can say this is June, May, or maybe June, let's say. Something like this. And then we might have, so if this scenario occurs, then we can say that we got bull run on crypto, right? For sure until June. And then becomes a decision point where it might do something crazy and goes up, which I'm just drawing with a dotted line or even dashed line, which is, and then goes up after June. And this could happen only if the inflation data are disastrous or something weird happens with the market macroeconomic point of view, right? Otherwise, you would like it to go down. But both are going to be the, I'll make it different column. So both are going to be dashed line, very, because this is like month of June or somewhere down the line. So now you have short-term understanding and a long-term understanding, I believe. Feel free to ask me if something is not clear. This could become a channel. Very tricky. I'm improvising on the spot, by the way. I didn't think about all this. Just expanding my thought real time. I mean, this is typically I do behind the scene. I'm doing it live right now. But what I explain is how I think. I hope I'm able to explain it. I think about different scenarios in terms of timeline and checkpoints and all those like this. So I hope this is clear. If not, so if this thing happened, you see the huge expansion, huge expansion. If this goes up and break down, then you can say this particular channel is this is more like a parallel channel. As you can see, orange and white, it's broken. If it goes up, then we can say it hits 1, 2, 3, and then up and forth and break out like that. Right? Otherwise, break down like this. This is it. I think there is nothing beyond this one as far as important movements are concerned. We have another flavor. Okay, so I like this one. This is different flavor. I hope you will appreciate this one and how it reacted to this morning. This is more level centric chart. This is more level centric chart. I should remove the pattern here. Because then I want to make two different flavors differently. This is more level centric chart. And the earlier one was more pattern centric chart. Make sense? Okay. This is very simple. I think I should not draw this. Let's keep it this way. So this is clear. I think that's it. I believe this is enough in terms of understanding Bitcoin and DXY, dollar index. Dominance, we look at dominance. So it didn't go down, and that's why we had dashed line. That means simply means that we can expect the next expectation level is this. If not this, then basically it's going for higher level. What can we do? Uh that means the alts would struggle. I mean, some of the alts would do well, but not a large. Yeah, not everyone. This is strong. Dominance is getting stronger. So it could break above. There's next. I don't have next. But it doesn't matter about this because this is not for trading, remember? Or this is for understanding. So if it breaks above 54, I don't need to give any resistance. It doesn't matter. Because the level above 54 is too much. That means total dominance in a way, because more than 50 is total dominance anyway. But if it goes towards 60, then it's terrible. Yeah, that's it. So this goes reference data. So let's go through all the alts. Should not take time. This is consolidation. Very simple. Annoying, annoying, annoying. Everything is annoying here. Sometimes we can simplify using the line chart. It's not that annoying if you look at this. But yeah, that's consolidation. No need to talk much. BSV is now recovering, so it will look for R2 and then R3. Very simple. Case is on. There's no major thing. Basically, what I learned from the trial that the COPA is trying to prove that all the documents and proof that Craig has provided are fraudulent. Then Craig is answering why it is not. That's what is going on in nutshell. So nothing is conclusive. If you listen to VSV folks, they are all over. I mean, and if Copa side, the BTC side, they're not talking much compared to BSV people because they know they are right now it's a mainstream, so they don't care unless something major happens, which is understandable. BSP side, they are very um and like they are pumped up that they think Craig will win. But if you ask me, there is nothing indicating Craig is winning, and there is nothing indicating Craig is losing either. It is just exchange of basically yeah, this Q&A going on evidence. Craig has provided around 72 documents after day one, which is exception because usually you cannot submit new proof, new evidence. But judge has accepted because this is not a case. Something they said that it's an exceptional case. That's why they have considered. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Because then COPA has to verify during the trial, which takes longer time. The judge says if they want more time, they can take it, and that's the new development. And so right now it's all about. So what I understood, if I had to summarize, the timestamp on the documents are there, but the documents fonts or some alignments have some mismatch, and timestamps have later dates, and as per Craig, these documents have gone through different digital formats, so that's why there is change. And then and they move from different systems, so that's why the timestamp got changed and so on. So that's his justification. Now, if that is taken as the proof or not, it's something judge will have to decide, I think, ultimately. So right now, there's nothing, say, clear-cut evidence indicating that this is from 2000. I mean, prior, nothing is proving clearly that he is Satoshi. Right. So personally speaking, for me also, there is no need. I'm not going to believe or trust unless I see something. So yeah, I'm neutral, totally. Doge, nothing, basically. Consolidation. No, nothing to add. Ethereum is making progress, heading for R3. I'll share R4 soon. FET is bouncing off the screen level, which is good. FI is bouncing off the S1, which is good, and then the yellow path, which is good. FT is bouncing off this S1, indicating this yellow path. Good. INJ is consolidating. It's not going down, it's just moving sideways, which is good. Gas has broken above, as I indicated. This is just consolidation below support one, very positive, and we got the breakout. This is a good one, very good one, as you could see. That means it's heading for R1. Simple. Link hit R4. So I have to give you R5. So for Ethereum and Link, I have to give you next. So this is perfect. I don't know. Our group people don't interact as if they are not using this information. I don't get to know what they do. They don't share much. Um. So Matic is bouncing, and it will try to break up by S1. This is very positive consolidation. So there's no change to the pattern. Only this pattern bit it got expanded a bit like this, but there's no fundamental change. That's it. Only timeline point of view because it took longer. Simple. So Matic is consolidating. RNDR is breaking above R2, as you can see. Last week it tried, retraced, and now it is trying this week. So it is just above R2 at this moment. The next is R3. Rune is nice. Now this is good one. So the last two candles I indicated that it's indicating slowdown. This is a nice one. And it hit R3, which is good. It is following this one. You will be surprised when you track on a weekly scale how things change compared to those who track daily and go crazy about it. Right. So again, this is awesome. Nothing wrong. Yeah, he's heading for R4. This is beautiful, isn't it? There's no need to explain a lot. This is consolidation over R3, right? And then R4. There's there's not much to explain, to be honest. This is simple trend line, which explains everything in this case. That's it then. We can wrap up here. And we have detailed information about BTC, which matters a lot. We have also seen ticks by in depth and also okay, and we know the levels and all those things. So um, everything looks good at this moment. So far, so good, I would say. See you next week then, and keep sharing on chatter. Keep the chatter active. Thanks, everyone.